I'm here today to demonstrate how I set up my rack aquariums, or my rack vivariums. And what I do is I start with a ZooMed naturalistic aquarium, 12 by 12 by 18. And I like to use the ZooMed because, as you can see, they open with one side going towards the left rather than from the middle out to the side as some of them do. And you take the background that comes with it out first and make sure that you wipe out the inside. I usually take mine outside and hose it down so that it has extra moisture on the inside. But for today's purposes, I'm just wiping it out with a wet cloth so that there's no packing materials left inside. And I like to leave the extra moisture in there because a rack needs a moisture between 65% and 80%. And these are the materials I use in starting my kit. I use silks. I use silk ferns like this to put on the bottom, which can be purchased at a dollar store. And I like to use silk vines. I use silks because they can be used over without having to purchase new ones. And they can be bought for about $6. This is a log you can purchase at your pet store, about $10. A dish for water, about $6. A hygrometer, which can be purchased for about $10. And this I like, which is made by Magna Naturals. It has magnets on the side, so you can attach it to the side of the glass and put it anywhere in the aquarium. And it has a little dish, so you can take that out. And I put inside of my dishes a cap from any kind of milk jug or Gatorade or anything, the food, because I find they don't eat a whole lot. So this keeps this dish clean, and it's easier to take in and out every day or every other day or whatever you need. And it's easier to dispose of. And this is very handy for the racks to hang out on. And what I use for my soil is potting soil, and I'm going to put potting soil inside here up to the mark where they have here for ventilation. And I like to use regular potting soil because they seem to like that best. And if you use potting soil, they can use that for their egg laying purposes. And I like to keep this as just a breeder tank, 2 at a time, a male and a female, because then you know who's laying the eggs. So I'm going to set the tank up right now for you. So here's my first
My bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
And I'm going to add a little bit of water here because I like to keep this moist, because this helps to keep the moisture amount up to the 65.
I brought you dirt.
Thank you. To 85 or 80%, which is what they need. And I find I never have had a problem with them laying their eggs this way. They seem to have a natural ability to put their eggs right in there, no problems. And you can tell this way when they lay their eggs. I think there's a rock. That's no good. Because the ground stays nice and smooth. Let's put a little bit more in there. The ground stays nice and smooth. And the only time it seems to be disturbed, that's good enough, Drew, thanks.
No more?
That's it. The only time the ground seems to be disturbed is when they root around in there, when they decide it's time to lay eggs. So that's about right. And I like to use the potting soil that does not have fertilizer in, because you're not fertilizing anything. Don't need to fertilize anything. You're not growing anything. So there's that. And just wipe my hand off here. That made a fine mess, but anyway. And oops, this just snaps right on the side here with magnets. Whoops. Yeah, that didn't work out so well. The magnet stuck to the magnet. Okay, try again. There we go. And a little dish in there. And I like to put that there so they can climb. And my favorite place to put their ferns is in the back corner, so they have privacy, and they always seem to like to go back there. Don't know why, but they do. And the hygrometer, I like to stick in the top in the front here so I can see what's going on here by just looking at it. And the dish fits nicely in the corner in the front here. And this is a little trick that I learned to make their climbing nice and easy. I take the end of the vines and I trim off the ends of the plastic, and under the plastic is just wire. And I pull a section of vine cut it off where I choose. And do the same to that end. Cut off the plastic. A little more. Oh, come on. Notice how nothing ever really works when you want it to work? Alright, good enough. And then, what you do is you stick it up through the wire up here. Let me get it close enough here. And take it, turn the wire over. And bend it through, and you're hooked. And do the same thing on this side. Put it up through. Turn it around, and it's hooked in. And that gives your racks, whether they be my favorite Cresties or Gargoyles, a fabulous place to hang. And you can do that with more vines if you choose, but make sure you don't put the vines over the water because they like to poop in the water. And that way, you have an enclosure here, and then you take your background right here and put it on the back here by using double stick tape, which I don't have right now here for you to see, but use double stick tape, and there you have your vivarium. And the price of that is about $112 altogether. But that's not the price of the soil, which you can get for about $4 in any Walmart or Lowe's or a plant store or anything. And that's that. So that's pretty nice looking rock pink, I think, and that's what I use standard for my breeders. And as you can see over here, I have several tanks already set up in that way. I have a larger one right there, but they're all set up the same way. And I have several smaller ones that are set up in exactly the same way with all my breeders. And that's that. Thank you.